What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life to Metal. It's time for a rock metal update. That's right. I've been doing that corny opening for years now, but I guess people expect it when I do a rock and metal update. So this is a rock and metal update. I'm going to show a few CDs this time around. Usually I keep these to vinyl, but I've got some cool new CDs that I thought I would show. My monitor was still on, didn't need that on, causing a weird glow. But anyhow, this is EXARSIS, Sentenced to Life. Great thrash metal from Greece. This is a band I knew nothing about until recently. I was on the other channel that I'm part of, the Metal Roundtable, and we were talking about thrash, I believe, and this band came up, and I was like, oh, wrote that down, had to check them out. So they have several albums out. This is the first one I received, and I'm really digging it. Vocals are a little unusual, kind of remind me of the higher pitched vocals from 3 Inches of Blood, but I really dig this band. Great stuff from Greece. The new solo album, or the most recent solo album from TODD, current Queensryche vocalist, former Agent Steel vocalist, among others. This is just straightforward heavy metal. Bit of groove here and there, but just mostly straightforward heavy metal. Really enjoyed this album. Listened to it 2 or 3 times already in my car. It's a solid album from TODD. If this one doesn't make my top 20 of 2021, I'd be surprised. I did pick it up on CD. I did not pick it up on vinyl for some reason. Usually I go for the vinyl first, but I decided to get the CD on this one. So a nice thing about that is I can spin it in my car. That's what I've been doing with it. This is another one I haven't picked up on vinyl yet, but I did grab the CD. This is the new album from YNGWIE MALMSTEEN. This is the box version of it, which is kind of cool. I mean, I actually didn't realize I was ordering the box version of it. I ordered this on Amazon expecting just the normal CD version, and I ended up getting this box version of it, and it comes with a digipack version of the album, which is typical YNGWIE MALMSTEEN stuff. There's a few instrumentals on here. I like YNGWIE MALMSTEEN. I like his style. I know he's arrogant. I know people don't like him personally. Whatever. I mean, I've heard the same things about Richie Blackmore and Michael Schenker and several others, but whatever. I enjoy his music, so that's why I listen to YNGWIE MALMSTEEN. I've been a fan of Malmsteen since the Steeler days. Saw him live with Alcatraz. I've just long been a fan, so glad to add this one to the collection and really enjoying it. This little box set, besides coming with the actual CD, it does have a nice booklet in it, photos and whatnot. It also has a little extras, so it's got several different, just 4 or 5 YNGWIE MALMSTEEN guitar picks. This little baggie. It's got an YNGWIE MALMSTEEN. What does he think called? The little things you put your beer on, coaster, I guess. It's got a couple of those in here, which will stay in the box. That's the thing about these collector's things, is they never leave the box for me. So you've got a YNGWIE MALMSTEEN sticker and what they call an YNGWIE MALMSTEEN postcard. It's kind of an unusual size for a postcard, but that's kind of what it is. So there you go. That's the CDs I have to show. All 3 of them are new releases to me. I know the EXARSIS is an older release, but like I said, I had never heard of them before, so glad to add that to my ever-growing list of bands that I love, especially when it comes to thrash metal. I love thrash metal, so I'm always looking for that, new thrash bands. So I'll be looking for more from them. So let's get into the vinyl. Classic American heavy metal from GRIFFIN. This is a reissue from several years ago. I found a copy that was reasonably priced. I've had a CD pressing of this thing for decades, so nice to finally have a decent vinyl version of this. Let's see if there's a restored in 2020. I don't know what the label this is, but ZYX. I don't know what the heck that is, but regardless, it sounds good. It looks good. There is no inserts in this thing, though. What you see is what you get. Black vinyl, custom center labels, but no inserts or posters or any of that kind of stuff. So this has always been one of my favorite album covers as well. I actually have this t-shirt. That's how much I love this album. So great stuff. Just traditional American heavy metal, a bit epic. If you like bands like Cirith Ungol or Manila Road, you may dig GRIFFIN as well. As far as I remember, they only had 2 albums out. They've got some live bootleg stuff out there, and I've got a live single from them that's cool too. But all right, now changing directions completely. This is not even hard rock. This is just straightforward 70s rock. This is the first album from the GARMO and Key, the GARMO and Key band, actually, in this case. This is, this time, apparently I can't read, this time through, and really good, straightforward rock. Now, if you know GARMO and Key at all, they're mostly known for the stuff they did in the 80s, and their 80s stuff was very poppy, kind of Hall & Oates stuff, you know, Huey Lewis and the News, that kind of pop rock kind of stuff, very 80s sounding. But the 70s stuff was much different, much more organic, much more straightforward rock, almost proggy. If you look at the thank you list in here, they thank a couple of people that you might not expect them to thank, but they thank Keith Emerson and Billy Gibbons for inspiration. So ZZ Top and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and you'll hear both of those things in here, though they are not a clone of either one of them. They're just a very cool, straightforward, organic rock band from the 70s, and I've been trying to get a hold of their first 3 albums on vinyl. I did get the first album, and then it should be in this pile somewhere as well. A good friend of mine, Dale, sent me this as well, so I have their 3rd album as well. This Ain't Hollywood. Now, this is 1980, so this is their 3rd album. This album was kind of a crossover in sound. It's still very straightforward rock. It's a little more poppy, but definitely not the Hall & Oates 80s style pop. It's more just straightforward rock. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I still think this album's better, but the one I'm wanting to get the most is their 2nd album, which I did order. I don't know if I got it sitting around here somewhere or not. Yeah, here it is. It's called Straight On. I did get a copy, and here it is. Now, I haven't even heard this album because this was sold as Excellent Plus to Near Mint, and as you can see from the cover, this is not even in decent quality. You've got a big tear across the face. You've got a nice little flappy here. You can wave at people. The entire thing is water damaged. There is a huge dent, tear in the back cover. I mean, this thing is just in pathetic condition. And you think, well, as long as the vinyl's okay, right? Yeah. It does have the original insert in it, but it is also very much water damaged and torn and beat to crap. But the record is in actually worse condition than the vinyl, than the cover is, and I don't know how well it'll show on there. But I mean, this thing looks like someone. Remember back in the day, you'd see people put like a penny or a quarter on their turntable, on their needle to keep it from skipping, and it would like dig into the records. That's what you got going on here. Not to mention there's tons of grooves and divots and scratches. This thing is just, it's literally unplayable. So in a record quality, it shouldn't even be sold. It is literally garbage. It is nowhere near VG or excellent, or definitely not near mint. It is garbage. Unfortunately, this disc seller is ignoring my messages and will not be returning my money apparently. So that's unfortunate. I'm just going to have to suck it up and leave some negative feedback. And now I can't find another copy for whatever reason. So eventually I'll find one. Regardless, this is the Straight On, which was their 2nd album, and in most people's opinion, it's one of their best. Like I said, very organic 70s style rock. This one here too is just 70s style rock. As you know, the violinist from Kansas recently passed away, and I went to go play some of their stuff because I am a fan of Kansas, especially the 70s stuff. And I went to play Song for America and realized, oh crap, I don't have it on vinyl. I thought I did. I would have bet that I did, and I didn't. So I either loaned it to somebody and forgot, or I never had it and just thought I did. Regardless, another bad story. I ended up buying 2 different copies that were in horrible shape online. Again, one of them said it was in very good plus condition. The cover was trash. There was no insert, and the record was nearly unplayable. So I contacted the seller. This seller apologized and sent my money back, which is fine. So I ordered a 2nd copy. This copy too said Excellent Plus. Now, at least the cover on the 2nd one looked decent. It had a little bit of ring wear, but I didn't care about that as long as the vinyl played. It looked pretty clean, so I put it on the turntable, and it sounded awful. I mean, it just sounded like static. It was so full of noise, and it didn't look all that dirty. It did have some slight lines on the vinyl. It's just, I actually have them sitting right here too. I can show you how bad the cover was on the first one that I got. This is supposedly excellent condition. So as you can see, there's a big tear down here. Again, there's water damage. You can see water damage here. It's torn. Again, it ain't no big deal if the covers, it doesn't even have the inner sleeve in it, which is supposed to have a printed inner sleeve, and it has a record in it that looks like somebody used it to play Frisbee across the freeway. And then here's the second one, which is, like I said, better, but still not playable. So yeah, unfortunately, 2 bad copies of that. A friend of mine said, dude, stop buying copies. He goes, I've got a bunch of them, and I'll send you one. I have some near mint copies. And sure enough, my buddy Carcass John hooked me up with a clean, super clean version of the Song for America from Kansas. Great album cover. You know, just straight. I don't know how to call it straight. It's very unique. Nobody really sounds like Kansas, but progressive rock from the 70s. And it does have the inner sleeve, which I guess I can show you real quick. Oops. There's the inner sleeve. Lyrics. I'm glad to finally have a copy, so I played this thing yesterday twice because I really wanted to hear it. And after getting 2 bad, unplayable copies, it was nice to finally get a clean, playable, good-sounding copy. Song for America from Kansas. That was a lot of talking about an album that's pretty common. This next one is a Radio City promo. It's actually in pretty good condition despite having a few flaws. My buddy Randy Michaud was in a shop and found this copy for me. I've shown this band before. I have the original pressing. This is the second pressing or the reissue of Uncle Sam, Heaven or Hollywood. Rochester band, really raw, gnarly garage rock. Some people call them glam rock, but they weren't glammy. I mean, when you think of 80s glam rock, you tend to think of stuff like Poison and Warrant. And no, these guys are raw and kind of, I don't want to say they're super heavy because they weren't super heavy, but they had this kind of dirty, nasty guitar sound. To me, they kind of have a sound that crosses early Alice Cooper with the Stooges. That's kind of the sound you get. So to me, it's more of a garage rock sound than it is a glam rock sound. But when I was going to college in Rochester, these guys were hugely popular in the local area, and a friend of mine who was in going to college with me ended up being their drummer for a short time. Did not play on this particular album, but anyhow, I've always wanted to get this cover with the. This is actually a very slightly different photo than the original. The original, she's not wearing the panties. That's the difference. So. Very cool album. Really glad to have it. It does have some radio call letters on here, WCAU, and it has a little hole from where it was punched for being a promo, but I don't care. It's very cool to have this one, and thank you, Randy, for hooking me up with that one. Brand new, 2021, new Dee Snider. This is the Viscar. This is the I don't know how many solo albums out, but he's been using this logo now. This is the 3rd time he's used this logo so he's got 3rd solo album from Dee Snider, and this is the 2nd one he's done with this same lineup and band. Charlie Belmore is the guitar player in the band, and he also wrote a lot of the music on this album. Charlie is pictured right here, and on the Metal Roundtable we just did an interview with him, which you can still see on the Metal Roundtable channel. This album is really good. I really, really enjoyed it. I like the last album too that Dee Snider did. For the Love of Metal, I believe it was called. I didn't really care for the first solo album he did that had that logo on it. It was kind of more, I don't know, modern rock kind of stuff. But I really liked the last album, and I really like this one too. Which one do I like better? I don't know. This one's really new to me. I've only heard it 2 or 3 times, but I'm really enjoying it right now. There's some great stuff on here. I Gotta Rock again. She, not the Kiss song. Well, that would have been a cool cover. Not that Dee Snider would cover Kiss. But yeah, there's some great stuff on here. And unlike the last album, Dee wrote most of the lyrics, as opposed to, I'm trying to remember who wrote the lyrics on the last one. Let me look it up real quick. It was, what's that guy's name? Jamie Josta. Jamie Josta from Hatebreed wrote a lot of lyrics on the last album for The Love of Metal. On this one, Dee Snider wrote most of the metal. On the last one, Jamie Josta wrote some of the music as well. On this one, it was mostly written by Charlie Belmore, guitar player. Although I believe he also worked with the other guitar player whose name is Nick Petrino also wrote some of the music with him. There's some dual guitar stuff on here. You can definitely tell they're purposely going for a more traditional heavy metal sound. Even some like thrash metal riffing here and there. But yeah, this is just straightforward heavy metal. A little more modern sounding. You know, it doesn't sound like Twisted Sister. So if you're expecting Twisted Sister, it's not that. But D sounds great. He just sounds strong on here. I hope I look as good as he does at his age, and sounds as good as he does at his age. So. This is one that, this was actually a gift from a friend of mine, Bill Bafford. This is the Record Store Day release of the 2020 Born Innocent vinyl release. It wasn't released on vinyl when it originally came out in 2020 that I'm aware of, but it did come out on Record Store Day finally. A double album set. It is not a gatefold. It is in one of those wider sleeves and has 2 picture sleeves inside, which I probably should show you. But this thing sounds great. If you like Alcatraz, if you like those first couple Alcatraz albums, it's very much in a similar style. A lot of newly guitar stuff. If you like that kind of thing, I mean, the first Alcatraz album had Yngwie Malmsteen on it. The second one had, what was it, Steve Vai on it? Am I correct on that? If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I can't remember now. But then this one has, and I got his picture right here. I'll show it to you real quick. This one has Joe Stump on here, and Joe Stump right there. And again, he pulls off all that, crazy guitar acrobatics really well. Great songwriting. I've always liked Graham Bonnet's voice, whether in any of the bands he's been in, whether it's been in Politary or Rainbow or whatever, Alcatraz. And could be also, I have a bit of a connection, having seen Alcatraz on their very first tour, Yngwie playing guitar. But regardless, great band. Jimmy Waldo on keys, Gary Shea on bass, and Graham Bonnet on vocals. There you go. And the other sleeve is just lyrics. It is on a blue vinyl. Nothing really too special about the vinyl other than it's blue custom center labels. Alcatraz. Very much in a similar style to their first couple albums. So this one actually went into a local record store, which I hadn't been into in a long time. Went into Charlie's Records in Albuquerque. Was shocked. I hadn't been in there since before the whole pandemic thing. And when I walked into the store, it's half the size that it was. Like, they literally blocked off and put a brick wall up. And the store used to be, it's in a strip mall, and it used to be in like 4 parts of the store. It's in half. So now it's only in 2 of the 4, and their stock was a quarter of what they used to have. I was in shock. I literally found nothing while I was in there that I didn't already have or that I wanted. Right when I was getting ready to leave, I was there with a friend of mine, and my friend said, "Hey, look at this. You have this," and he pulled this one out, and I just happened to miss it. It was in the metal section. I don't know how I missed it, but regardless, this is a European pressing of STARZ, Brightest STARZ, which is basically a best of collection that was released in Europe that I have had on CD forever, so I'm glad to finally have it on vinyl. One of these days I'll have to do a STARZ collection video because they have a ton of STARZ stuff. This is one of those bands I really think, man, if they would have just stuck it out and not given up, into the 80s, and they would have been monstrous. They would have been big. I think the same thing about Angel. They just gave up a little too early. They didn't quite catch on in the 70s like they could have and should have. I mean, these guys had everything going for them. They had the look. They had the vocalist. They had the guitar player. They had the sound. They had the logo. They had the management. They had everything going for them. They just didn't catch on. Same thing with Angel. Yet this kind of, pop metal became popular in the 80s. I mean, it may not have been popular in 78, 79, 80 when these guys were still around, but by 81, 82, especially around 83, yeah, these guys I really think would have started soaring. But whatever, it didn't work out for them. They have done shows over the years still, and then reformed and whatnot. But this is it's a cool cover, cool album, nice collection of tracks from U.S. pop band STARZ. Still got a lot going here. How much? Man, I'm 20 minutes in. I need to hurry up. I'm talking too much. All right. Record Store Day releases. They were supposed to release 3 albums. They only released 2 from King's X. I love this band. Texas-based groove rock, progressive rock. A lot of people call this a musician's band. It seems like people who aren't musicians or who aren't really deeply into music just don't get this band. I love King's X. I really love their whole catalog. I like a lot of their solo stuff. I think the first Pound Hound is freaking brilliant. I'm really hoping that one will come out on vinyl one of these days, remastered as well. But anyhow, we got here Tapehead, which I believe was their first album from Metal Blade Records after leaving Atlantic Records. And then the follow-up to that, which is MANIC Moonlight. Now, Tapehead is a very good record. I mean, it is monstrous grooves, heavy riffing, those soulful, Beatlesque vocals from Doug Pinnick and the bunch, and I really enjoy this record. If any album put me off, MANIC Moonlight, it's a little odd, a little more experimental than a lot of the other King's X records. I kind of remember when this one came out thinking that they were putting more into their solo records than they were into the King's X music. But, you know, over the years I've grown to like it and really glad that I've got it on vinyl now. They are both numbered 2500 press. This is 2135 of 2500 and number 77 of 2500. So glad to have those in my collection. They were not cheap record store releases. I usually do not spend that kind of money on vinyl, but I really wanted to get those King's X albums, and so there you have it. This one was not expensive. I actually got this one in a trade, and but it's not expensive to begin with. But this is a earache pressing of For Victory from Bolt Thrower, UK death metal band. If you don't know who Bolt Thrower are, chances are you're just not into the death metal because these guys are pretty well known. So, great album, great band. Just one I didn't have on vinyl, so glad to finally have it. I've been looking for this for a while. I've had the CD pressing forever. I didn't want to get the repressing. I really wanted the original pressing of this one, but this is the U.S. pressing of Extreme Aggression from Kreator. This is on Epic Records. Yes, a major label. Kreator were on a major label for a time in the United States, and this was the major label debut, I believe. This album's great. A lot of people list it as their favorite Kreator album. Hard for me to pick a favorite Kreator album. There's just so many great albums from them. But, yep, Teutonic Thrash, German thrash band, you know, part of the big three of German thrash, you know, Kreator, Destruction, and Sodom. For me, it would be Kreator, Sodom, Destruction, and Accuser. A lot of people include Tankard in that list too, so there you go. Anyhow, original pressing. Again, I got this one in a trade, and really glad to have it. It is a gold stamp promo. I could care less about that. I know people really into that and collect gold stamp promos. I don't care. I'm just glad to have an original pressing as opposed to the repressing. Another new album for 2021. This is the new live album from Screamer. A really good live album. For some reason, people aren't into live albums like they used to, but I love live albums, especially for like you know, 70s hard rock and traditional heavy metal like Screamer, and it's really good. I pre-ordered this from the band's Bandcamp's page. Got the autographed copy. Also came with an autographed postcard, and it came with a, which was, I don't think, part of the sticker, and a stitched patch, which I don't think actually came with the album. I just think they included those things in to those who ordered directly from them. So, really cool. On Steel Dragon Records. Steel Dragon. Yeah, great live album, Screamer. I think I have everything they put out. I've just long been into them. So there you go. We got two more. Another one that's kind of off the beaten path, not metal, not hard rock. This is OZRIC Tentacles. This is an original pressing of the SPLOOSH EP, or single. It's a 12-inch single. You got live throb on the back. I don't know how exactly sure how you say it, but they are a UK prog ambient band. OZRIC Tentacles are their own thing. I really have a hard time describing what their music sounds like. They're just a band that I've fallen in love with and I'm constantly looking for stuff for. So, and I love that cover art. It is so corny, so unusual, so fun. I love it. So I've been picking up a lot of the reissues that came out last year from them, but this is an original pressing, so it was inexpensive on eBay, so I snatched it up. And then the last one, this is another new release. Really enjoying this one. This is the second full-length album from INNERSIEGE, and it is Fury of Ages. This is a U.S. power metal band, heavily influenced by the European sound. Guitar player who's heavily influenced by YNGWIE MALMSTEEN. You can definitely tell. Guitarist's name is Kev. He's right here. yeah, this band's fantastic. I really liked the last album. That one was never released on vinyl. That album actually came out on Rox Records, which, as many of you know, I work for Rox Records. This one here is on No Dust Records, which I have no idea who that is. Or Quamran Records. Again, I never heard of that one either. So regardless, I was able to find a copy, so whoever pressed it, I'm glad they did. Fantastic recording, fantastic sound. INNERSIEGE, American Power Metal, Fury of Ages. And that is it. That is my update, and that was almost 30 minutes, so a lot to show, a lot of chatter. Let me know if what you think of those. If you love them, you hate them, leave a message below. I try to answer everybody back, and I appreciate you guys watching and listening, and commenting. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.